Arsenal Football Club are in the Champions League final. Let that settle for a moment. Not the semi-final, not the quarter-final, the final in Budapest, undefeated against the best teams Europe had to offer this season. This is not a dream. This is not a projection. This is the confirmed reality of what Mikel Arteta has built at the Emirates Stadium. Last night, Arsenal eliminated Atletico Madrid over 2 legs and booked their place in the biggest club match in European football. And the manner in which they did it, the tactical control, the individual brilliance, the collective belief, that is exactly what we are going to break down today. Because this is not just about one result. This is about a club that has been on a journey, a club that has been building something extraordinary over 3 seasons. And tonight, the whole world has finally seen what Arsenal supporters have known for some time now. This team is ready. So let us get into it. Every key moment, every reaction, every tactical detail, every player who stepped up when it mattered most. We are covering it all right here on Melissa Arsenal Analyst. Before we go deeper, it is important to understand what was at risk going into this tie. Atletico Madrid are not just any opponent. Diego Simeone has built one of the most tactically disciplined sides in European football over more than a decade. They defend with organised aggression. They are dangerous on transitions. They eliminate top clubs year after year through sheer mental and physical toughness. Arsenal had to match that, not just with quality, but with character. And they did exactly that. Now, if you want this level of detailed analysis every time Arsenal make the news, hit that subscribe button right now. This channel exists to give you the full picture, the tactical breakdown, the player assessments, the managerial decisions that other channels miss. Subscribe now and you will never miss a moment of Arsenal analysis. Let us continue. The UCL Journey, the official Champions League account, posted a graphic after the result that captured something important in just a few words. It read 23-24, quarter-final, 24-25, semi-final, 25-26, final. And then Mikel Arteta's Arsenal with a rising graph emoji. Now, read that again slowly, because this is what genuine progression looks like in elite European football. This is not a lucky run. This is not a club that stumbled into a final through a soft draw. This is a structured, consistent year-on-year improvement under a manager who has a clear vision and is executing it at the highest level. 3 seasons, 3 consecutive knockout round advances, each one going further than the last. That kind of trajectory is rare. In modern football, with the financial pressures, the squad turnover, the injuries and the tactical evolutions that clubs face every single season, maintaining an upward line in the Champions League over 3 consecutive years is a remarkable achievement. Arteta deserves enormous credit for this. The work that has gone into building this team is visible in that simple graphic. Progress is not always loud. Sometimes it is steady, sometimes it is structured, and sometimes it arrives at exactly the right moment. This is that moment. The unbeaten record. Arsenal go to Budapest undefeated. The Champions League account followed up with a graphic showing every single result from Arsenal's campaign this season, and it is worth going through what is visible there. They beat Atletico away in the first leg. They defeated Olympiacos. They dismantled Atletico 4-0 on aggregate. They won away from home against Red Star. They beat Bayern Munich 3-1. They defeated Brugge away. They beat Inter Milan away 3-1. They defeated Borussia Dortmund 3-2. They drew 1-1 with Leverkusen. They beat Leverkusen 2-0. They won away at Sporting. They drew 0-0 with Sporting at home. They drew 1-1 with Atletico in the first leg. And they won the second leg 1-0. 14 games across an entire Champions League campaign. And not a single defeat. This is elite level consistency, going unbeaten for 14 matches in the Champions League against this quality of opposition is not something that happens by accident. It happens because of defensive organisation, tactical intelligence and a squad that is mentally strong enough to handle pressure across an entire European campaign. The numbers behind that record, as confirmed separately, show that Arsenal have allowed opponents an average of just 0.84 expected goals per game in the Champions League this season. That is comfortably better than any other side in Europe in 2025-26. This defence is not just good, it is historically exceptional at this level. Thierry Henry speaks. Thierry Henry appeared on CBS Sports Golazo after the match, and what he said captures something that every honest Arsenal supporter should appreciate. Henry said, and these are his words, how brave Mikel Arteta was in his starting lineup. I have to give a lot of credit to the usual guys, Saliba, Gabriel, Rice, But I have to give Gyokeres a lot of credit. Now, let us sit with the word brave for a moment. Henry did not say Arteta was clever. He did not say Arteta was tactical. He said he was brave. And that word choice matters enormously, because the decision to select a particular lineup against Atletico Madrid in a Champions League semi-final second leg with a place in the Budapest Final at stake required conviction. It required belief in a system and in specific players, even when questions were being asked about form, about selection, and about tactical identity. Henry is not a man who hands out praise lightly. He's a former World Cup winner, a Champions League winner, one of the greatest forwards the game has ever seen. When he says something deserves credit, it is worth listening. And he named 4 players: Saliba, Gabriel, Rice and Gyokeres. That list tells you everything about how Arsenal won this tie. Arsene Wenger's warning. Arsene Wenger, speaking on beIN Sports, the man who built modern Arsenal, delivered a message that was both celebratory and cautionary. Wenger said, to go to the final, you need to be strong defensively. It shows how strong Arsenal is defensively and disciplined. Now, the next step is, of course, to go to the final and win it. The first part of that statement is a compliment of the highest order. Wenger built teams that were known for their attacking brilliance. He knows better than almost anyone what it takes to go deep in European competition, and his assessment that Arsenal's defensive strength is the foundation of this run is significant. But the second part is the warning. Reaching the final is not the destination, it is the journey. The destination is lifting the trophy, and Wenger, who knows what it feels like to fall short, who knows what it feels like to watch other clubs claim the trophies his great teams deserved, is reminding this current Arsenal squad and this current Arsenal manager that the work is not done. Get there and then win it. That is the challenge now. Bukayo Saka. When Bukayo Saka was asked who Arsenal want to face in the final, he smiled and gave an answer that was both honest and entertaining. He said, "Come on, man, you cannot ask me that. You know I will have to give a media-trained answer. You know deep down who we want to face. That is all I say." Now, he did not name names, and we will not either, because that is not what this analysis is about. What matters here is the confidence behind that statement. Saka did not say he does not care who Arsenal face. He did not give a diplomatic, every team is tough answer. He acknowledged directly with a smile that Arsenal have a preference, that Arsenal believe they can beat a specific opponent more than another. That is the mentality of a squad that believes it can win the whole thing. And coming from Saka, a player who we will hear more from later in this video, a player who has spoken openly about the scrutiny and criticism he has faced this season, that confidence carries even more weight. Diego Simeone's verdict. Diego Simeone spoke after the match, and what he said will be remembered. The Atletico Madrid manager, one of the most decorated coaches in European football history, a man who does not give compliments easily, said the following: Arsenal were the better team over these 2 legs. They are the best team we have faced this season. They play with a rhythm and a conviction that is very difficult to contain. He also said that Arsenal took their big chance in the first half and deserved to get through. He acknowledged that his own team was not clinical enough in the situations they created. Now, Simeone could have deflected. He could have pointed to bad luck, to referee decisions, to injuries. Managers at his level often do. Instead, he looked directly at the facts and gave Arsenal full credit. When Diego Simeone tells the world that your team plays with a rhythm and a conviction that is very difficult to contain, you are doing something right. That is not a quote from a pundit or a supporter. That is the opposing manager speaking in public after being eliminated from the Champions League. Arsenal did not just beat Atletico Madrid, they impressed them. Declan Rice on West Ham. In one of the more emotionally significant moments captured across social media last night, Declan Rice was asked about the upcoming Premier League match against West Ham United. Rice said, "Without West Ham, there is no me. They gave me a chance when Chelsea did not. It is not nice to see the position they are in, but it is football and I have a job to do on Sunday. We are trying to win the Premier League." That statement is layered with honesty and professionalism. Rice acknowledged his debt to West Ham in sincere terms. He did not dismiss the club that gave him his career foundation. He respected them openly and publicly, which tells you something about his character. But he also made something absolutely clear. He has a job to do, and that job is helping Arsenal win the Premier League title. On a night when Arsenal had just reached a Champions League final, Rice was already thinking about the next objective. That is the mindset of a champion. That is the mentality that is making Arsenal what they are right now. William Saliba sends a message. William Saliba spoke after the match and his words were short, direct and powerful. He said, "We have got 4 finals left And our mindset is simple. We want to win every single one of them. There is real belief in this squad that we can do it. 4 finals. Think about what that means for a moment. Arsenal are competing on multiple fronts simultaneously. They have reached the Champions League final in Budapest. They are in contention for the Premier League title, as Declan Rice confirmed with his comments about West Ham, and they have further domestic commitments ahead. Saliba did not celebrate and relax. He celebrated and then immediately refocused. He spoke about wanting to win every remaining game, not hoping, not aiming, not targeting, wanting. This is the character of Arsenal's defensive core. Saliba is not just a technically brilliant centre-back. He is a leader. He is a winner, and right now he is arguably the best defender in European football. Viktor Gyokeres, the full picture. In just one season, Viktor Gyokeres has achieved the following. He has led Sweden to their first World Cup qualification in over a decade. He has led Arsenal to a potential Premier League title. He has led Arsenal to their first Champions League final in 20 years, and he has scored 20 goals while contributing 25 goal contributions across all competitions. Let those numbers and achievements exist together for a moment. This is a player who arrived at Arsenal this season under enormous scrutiny. The price tag, the expectations, the comparisons, the debate about whether he was truly ready for the very top level. And he has answered every single question with performances and results. 20 goals, 25 goal contributions, a potential league title, a Champions League final, a World Cup qualification for his national team, all in one season. What else could you possibly ask of a striker? The answer is nothing. Viktor Gyokeres has delivered in every possible direction this season, and anyone who doubted him owes him an apology. The evidence is undeniable. Mikel Arteta, the morning after the match, Mikel Arteta spoke about the night and about what comes next. He said, "Let us enjoy tonight. And tomorrow we have to start to recover really well, get the batteries to the maximum again and start to prepare for West Ham, because that is a massive game." 2 things stand out here. First, Arteta gave his squad permission to enjoy the moment. He did not immediately suppress the celebration. He recognised that reaching a Champions League final is a historic achievement that deserves to be felt and appreciated. Second, and more importantly, he immediately identified the next challenge. West Ham, Premier League, massive game. That balance between celebrating achievements and maintaining competitive focus is one of the hardest things to manage in elite football. Arteta has found that balance. He allows joy and then he redirects it. This is what world-class management looks like in practice. Not just tactics on a board, not just press conferences, but knowing exactly when to let the squad breathe and when to refocus them toward the next objective. The defensive numbers, the data from Opta Analyst confirms what the eye test has been showing all season. Arsenal allowed Atletico Madrid chances worth only 0.99 expected goals in the second leg last night. And across the entire Champions League campaign of 14 games, they have allowed opponents a per-game average of just 0.84 expected goals. That is comfortably better than any other side in the 2025-26 competition. The additional stats are equally impressive. Arsenal have conceded an average of 0.49 goals per game in Europe this season, excluding own goals. They have averaged 11 shots conceded per game, and they have allowed an expected goals value of just 0.08 per shot conceded. What those numbers tell you is not just that Arsenal concede few chances, it is that when opponents do create chances against Arsenal, those chances are low quality. Arsenal are not just defending the box. They are controlling where opposition attacks develop, limiting dangerous areas and forcing opponents into low probability shooting positions. This is structural defensive excellence. This is not luck. This is a system that has been built, drilled and executed at the highest level over an entire European campaign. Daniel Sturridge's assessment. Daniel Sturridge, speaking on Amazon Prime, identified Viktor Gyokeres as the key factor in Arsenal's success against Atletico. The former England striker said that the drive and tenacity of the players impressed him most. He praised Miles Lewis-Skelly for controlling the pace and play of the match. But then he went further. Sturridge said, "Gyokeres was the best player tonight for me. He took so much pressure off the defenders. When you launch it up top thinking, can it stick? Can you hold it up for us? He did it all for them." Those are the performances that define top players. That final line is the key one. Those are the performances that define top players. Because Gyokeres did not score against Atletico, he did not get his name on the score sheet, and yet 3 separate high-profile pundits, Henry, Sturridge and others are identifying him as one of the most impactful players on the night. That tells you everything about his contribution. A striker who wins a Champions League semi-final without scoring through hold-up play, movement, pressure and creating space for teammates. That is a complete number 9. That is a player who understands the game at the deepest level. Arteta and Simeone. Fabrizio Romano captured a moment between the two managers that carried genuine emotional weight. Arteta on Simeone said the following: "We know each other well. It is very hard for anyone when you are so close and it gets taken away from you." I feel in sync with him because I know what it is like to be on the other side. It happened to me last year. That last sentence is the most revealing. Arteta is acknowledging that 12 months ago, he experienced exactly what Simeone experienced last night. He knows the feeling of being eliminated when a final was within reach. He has lived that pain personally, and rather than celebrating without empathy, he acknowledged the human cost of competition. He recognised his opponent's pain because he has felt it himself. This kind of emotional intelligence is part of what makes Arteta a unique figure in modern football management. He is tactically elite, he is technically demanding, but he is also a human being who leads other human beings, and that combination is rare. Bukayo Saka opens up. In one of the most moving post-match moments, Bukayo Saka spoke about the emotional weight of this season. He said, "It is not easy, but I do not want to say I am struggling and make people feel sorry for me. As soon as I step onto that pitch and put myself out there, I have to be ready for whatever critics I face if I do not perform, and that is the reality at this level." He continued, "We are competing for some big things, Premier League, Champions League, so the stakes are high, and if you do not perform, you are going to get criticised." And then he said something that stopped many people. He said, "I am very happy today. I have been speaking to you, Thierry Henry, throughout the season. You have been there for me and you know what it has been like. But today has been a very special moment for me, my family and all the Arsenal fans as well." Saka has faced criticism this season. He has navigated pressure. He has done all of this while remaining the most dangerous wide attacker in Arsenal's squad, delivering in crucial moments, including in the very match that sent them to Budapest. And after reaching a Champions League final, his first thought was gratitude for the support he has received, for his family, for the fans. That is the measure of this young man's character. Jose Mourinho speaks. Jose Mourinho, one of the most experienced and respected football minds of the modern era, delivered what can only be described as a powerful and extended tribute to Arsenal's performance. He said, "I have to be honest, I have to speak the truth. For months, I am listening to these people, these so-called experts on the television, telling me that Arsenal are boring. They say Mikel has become too pragmatic, that they only play defensive football." He then said, "Tonight, I decided to tune in. I wanted to see it for myself. And I must say, I am surprised. But I am not surprised by the defence. I am surprised by the artistry." He continued, "The way they move the ball, the verticality, the conviction in every single pass, it is high-level football. You look at the reading of the game, how they occupy the spaces, it is fantastic." And then he made a comparison that should settle the debate about Arsenal's style forever. He said, "People talk about Barcelona, but let me tell you, even Barcelona at their best could not challenge this Atletico team in the Champions League. They would suffocate. But Arsenal did it. They broke them down with personality." He concluded, "I do not care what anybody says. I do not care about the critics. For me right now, this is the best team in the world. Simple. They deserve to be in this final and they deserve to lift the trophy. When you play with this much heart and this much tactical discipline, you are at the top. Everything else is just talk." When Jose Mourinho, a man who has won multiple Champions League titles, multiple Premier League titles, and has managed some of the greatest clubs in the history of football, says a team is the best in the world, it carries a weight that cannot be dismissed. He could have stayed silent. He could have been diplomatic. Instead, he chose honesty, and his verdict was unambiguous. Arsenal are not boring. Arsenal are not just defensively solid. Arsenal are playing high-level, artistically impressive, tactically disciplined football, and they deserve to win in Budapest. Thierry Henry on Viktor Gyokeres. The situation with Gyokeres at Arsenal right now is one of the most fascinating individual storylines in European football. Here is what is now clear. His teammates have finally found the connection with him that unlocks his full potential. This was not always the case earlier in the season, but across the last 3 matches against Fulham and across both legs against Atletico, something has shifted in how Arsenal use their number 9. Henry, watching from the CBS Sports studio, identified it precisely. It is not just about Gyokeres improving individually, it is about his teammates beginning to understand what he is good at. and deliberately playing to those strengths rather than working against them. The specific moment Henry highlighted involved the build-up to Bukayo Saka's goal. Gyokeres made a run in behind the defensive line, checking to see if he could get on the end of Saliba's ball. When the defender's touch altered the trajectory, Gyokeres read it instantly. He did not force the shot. He did not rush a decision. He controlled the situation, assessed the crossfield opportunity and delivered a ball that Saka was able to convert. That is elite football intelligence. That is the kind of awareness that only exists in players who are genuinely operating at the top level. Henry said that if that connection between Gyokeres and Saliba had not happened in that moment, Saka's goal does not happen. He is right. And that is the point. Arsenal are now a team where the connections between players are fluid enough that moments like that occur naturally, without pre-planning, because everyone on the pitch understands the system deeply enough to make the right decision at the right time. Gyokeres has scored 21 goals for the season heading into these final matches. He has been outstanding in the two most recent games. He is peaking at exactly the right moment, and the team around him is now tuned into how he operates. That combination is dangerous for every team left in the competition. Jamie Carragher on Declan Rice. The tactical shift that Mikel Arteta made over the past 3 games is now confirmed, and it is significant. Declan Rice has been repositioned into a deeper number 6 role. Martin Zubimendi, who started the season so impressively for Arsenal, has found himself on the bench. And Miles Lewis-Skelly has been brought into the midfield to operate alongside Rice. Carragher's assessment of this change is direct. He believes it has transformed Arsenal. And the evidence from the last 3 matches, wins against Fulham and Atletico, combined with Manchester City dropping points in the Premier League, supports that conclusion. The reason this tactical adjustment works is about personality as much as it is about position. Rice, in a deeper role, brings ball-winning intensity, range of passing and physical dominance that controls the space in front of the back four. Lewis-Skelly, operating in a more advanced midfield position, brings energy, forward passing and the ability to carry the ball into dangerous areas. Together, they create a midfield that can both protect and progress. They defend with aggression and transition with speed. And crucially, they play forward when the opportunity arises rather than sideways or backwards. Zubimendi is a technically excellent footballer. His beginning of the season performances demonstrated that clearly, but the reality right now, as the evidence from the last 3 matches confirms, is that this version of the Arsenal midfield, with Rice at the base and Lewis-Skelly alongside him, is more dynamic, more direct and more dangerous. Eberechi Eze in the midfield mix is also identified as part of this formula going forward. And with 4 finals remaining, as Saliba described them, the timing of this tactical clarity could not be more important. Arteta has found his best 11 at the most crucial point of the season. That is a managerial achievement of the highest order. What comes next? Arsenal are in the Champions League final. They are undefeated in 14 European matches. They have the best defensive record in the competition. Their striker is in the form of his life. Their midfield has found its best shape. Their key players are delivering in the biggest moments, and their manager has the full belief of legends like Henry and Wenger and the respect of opponents like Simeone and Mourinho. William Saliba said it best: 4 finals, same mindset, win every single one of them. West Ham in the Premier League is coming, the Champions League final in Budapest is coming, and Arsenal are going into all of it with momentum, belief and the tactical foundation to compete with anyone in the world. This is what Mikel Arteta has built. This is what this squad has worked toward, and the work is not done. Stay with Melissa Arsenal Analyst for full coverage of every remaining match, every tactical decision and every key moment as Arsenal chase history. If this video gave you the full picture, hit subscribe, drop a comment below with your prediction for Budapest and share this video with every Arsenal supporter you know. The final is coming and Arsenal are ready.